Hey y'all, I am here in my very favorite coffee shop, Zeal Grounds Coffee Hub. Shout out to the hubby. I am sitting here, it's Saturday, and I have been on my business. I don't know. I was gonna say on my stuff, but anyways, I'm sitting here on a Saturday. This is the first Saturday I've had in a long time where I've been able to really just do my own thing, catch up on stuff and all of that. I've been working on my business so hard today. And I was like, you know what? While I'm on this motivational productivity high, let me do a YouTube video. And so I wanted to encourage you guys and talk to you about my business a little bit and just the journey God has had me on with that. So buckle up. So I actually have never done a video about my business or about how this happened and how we got here, but I really want this to be so encouraging to you because I know there are gonna be other entrepreneurs that watch this video. There are gonna be other people who have business ideas that watch this video and you're just getting started. I'm just getting started, and so let's talk about this. First of all, I feel like there aren't enough people who have made it that are talking about how hard and confusing and frustrating and scary it is to start a business that's completely about you. It is very easy for you to post fun content and not feel any kind of responsibility about it. But the minute you put labels and titles and business names and services and websites and things to something and it starts getting real, here comes the pressure. I want to tell you, this is not what I expected, not what I had in mind. Okay, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let's start from the beginning. So last year in December, I was talking with a friend. And you know what? I'm gonna give you her information. Kendra Tall, Marketplace Midwife. She is social docs on her social media platforms and in her community. She is she's a Christian. She's a strong woman of God, and she births businesses for people. And she helps people with their marketing, entrepreneurship, all the things. She's amazing. I was sitting in her house, we were chatting, and she said, Jasmine, what is your dream? What do you really wanna do? Shout out to the snickerdoodle. And I say, you know what, Kendra, if I could quit my job yesterday and go on to do leadership workshops, training teams on communication, talking with businesses and Fortune 500 companies, and just speaking in schools and things like that. I was like, that would be my dream. I want to speak. I want to be a communicator. I want to travel and do that. And she was like, you know, you could do that now. You know, you could be leading classes now. You know, you could be speaking right now. That doesn't have to be just a dream. That could be a reality. I said, you know what? That's really cool. On the way home from leaving her house, the Lord gave me the name Commission to Communicate. And I was like, God, what are you talking about? Then he started taking me through Matthew and the Great Commission, Matthew 28:19, go to the nations and make disciples of everyone, teaching them everything I taught you. And he's like, you know how that is a commission? It's an assignment that we've been sent on. That basically means that we've all been assigned and commissioned to communicate this message. The Lord is a communicator, and he's given us his spirit to be able to communicate. In the beginning, the Lord said, let there be light. He said, let there be light. And he's given us the same abilities to communicate. Prayer, communication. Why would we not be able to communicate? And the only way we can have a relationship with God is if we communicate. Yes. I was like, okay, God, what do you want me to do with that? I spent 2 weeks. I stayed up until 12, 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter, preparing my business. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew, okay, I'm gonna be obedient about this because Kendra wasn't the first person that talked to me about this. My spiritual parents had given me ideas and prophetic insight, and the Lord had already been telling me about it, and it's something I want to do. So I've always had this idea. And God tells me, okay, before the year is out, you're gonna have a communications class. Before the year is out, mind you, we had this conversation December the 14th of last year. There's only about 16, 17 more days left. God, I just got the idea. I don't have a website. I don't have a community. I don't have a platform where I've been talking about this. What do you mean? And he's like, trust me, you want to do this, so let's do it. Okay. I spent 2 weeks and got my website together. got my logo together, got my mission, my vision, my everything, my courses, my services, pubbing for my class, everything. My mom, shout out to my mom. She pushed my first class out so hard. She had she leads Bible studies nightly over Zoom. She got her entire Bible study class on there. So my first class was like 30 plus people. And I was so nervous, guys. And communication is what I do, right? I'm an attorney. I'm a wife. I'm a pastor. I'm a mentor. I'm a spiritual mama. Like, I communicate, so that's easy. But this, again, I told you, we start putting pressure on stuff when there are labels. So this one was just a little bit different. At the end of my first class, I gave the offer, right? Every time you are doing a coaching thing or whatever you're doing, something I learned is whenever you're doing something, always have somewhere to send people. So don't just push out a message, push out content, push out whatever it is, and you don't have anywhere for them to be connected or go to the next step. And I was scared. I was like, Lord, this is my first class. How am I gonna ask these people for some money? I can't do it. And he gave me a structure. And my first offer was $100 for 1 hour for an identity audit and message workshop with me. And I explained what it was gonna be. And I said, does anybody want to take that offer? Mind you, I set myself up for rejection by asking that out loud. I should have just sent it in an email. But the Lord pushed me to ask, and my heart was boom, 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 right? And so I asked, and my parents said, we're gonna pay for 2 people to get this for free. Who wants it? I mean, like 3 to 5 people commenting, I want it. I said, you wanna talk to me? You think I have something to offer? I said, God, this is real. This is real. I'm making money off of this. And not that that was the goal, but it's like, you know, when God just tell you to do something crazy and you don't expect it to be like, at least not off the ground running. You don't expect things to just take off. I was so shocked. This is probably the most shocked I've been about something God has asked me to do. So I had, from that time in December, I did another course. I think I did 2 courses in December. I did one in January, one in February. And in all that time, I've only been doing this for, well, at that point, like 3 months, right? I had maybe 7 or 8 paid consultations, guys. I was making money from this. And people were coming in from everywhere. I started getting people who weren't connected to my mom, right? My mom and my dad, they helped me gain clientele and push the business out there, and they're telling everyone about it. And so a few of my clients came from them. I started getting people who were out in Houston, who were out in, where is she from? Tennessee. I just had a consultation today with a girl who's out in South Carolina. People who have just Googled looking for Christian coaches, communications and identity coaches, and they found me. And I'm not the most established, right? And God was sending people to me, and I was just like, oh my God, this is real. But then here comes the difficult part, that I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for God to do what he promised. And so I didn't have systems in place. I didn't have next steps after the first meeting. I didn't have a community built together. I didn't have mentorship strategies and outlines for people to stay connected. I didn't have a strategy. So things just kind of like black, you know, like I was still like putting flyers and things out there. But once you met with me once, it was like, okay, bye, I don't know. And then life hit me hard in March. My foundation cracked. So all of March, I didn't post, I didn't do anything really. I don't know, guys. I keep telling people I was basically asleep for the month of March. I'll talk about that in another video. But I was struggling in March. I just was overwhelmed. I was drowning, and I had responsibilities I had to keep up with. And so the business fell apart. And then the Lord revitalized it in April after my birthday. And now I'm here about to have my next class in 2 weeks. And so I say all that to say that God is not a man that he will lie, nor the son of man that he will repent. But if he says something, you can trust that he will perform his word, right? We got to stop trying to make God's word come true. That's his job. God will perform his word. And you pray for things, then believe that the Lord can do it. And then when he does it, be prepared. Like that was my problem. I didn't prepare for the Lord to bring everything in. And so now this time I'm like, oh, I got a system. I got a group. I got community. I'm ready for you guys, right? And now I've got to build up momentum again, which is fine. But the Lord has you in his hands. So for every entrepreneur out there, every leader, every content creator, every whatever you are, in whatever sphere or space that you're in, the Lord will fulfill his promises. You expect him to do that, right? Trust that he'll do that. And even when we're confused and we don't know if things are going to be successful, don't let fear stop you. Don't let fear outweigh your resolve to walk in your identity. And that's the difference right now is even if nobody likes this YouTube video, even if nobody signs up for my next class, even if no one signs up for another consultation, I have a fresh resolve and motivation to walk in my own identity. So no matter what other people think, I will continue to do this because the Lord asked me to, and I love him, and I've seen what he can do in a short amount of time, guys. In a short amount of time, I'm still in shock at how successful things were. And so I can only imagine what they'll be this time with a fresh perspective and expectation of what God can do. So I'm excited. And if you haven't connected with my business, you can connect with JasmineAvery.com. Sign up for my class, support, like, share, all the things. And then, just tell me if there's anything I can do to help you, right? For all the other YouTubers out there, communicators out there, I want to help. I want to support. I have free consultations that I'm offering as well because I care that much about people being able to communicate the message the Lord has given them. So let's connect and trust God.